The warning was given. Clear, direct, undeniable. God had already spoken to Cain. Not in anger, not in judgment, but in mercy. Sin is crouching at your door, waiting, watching, ready to take control. And yet, he also said something powerful. You must rule over it. Which means, Cain still had a choice. The door was not closed. The outcome was not fixed. At this moment, nothing had gone too far, but something inside Cain was already shifting. And this is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Because this is not just about Cain. This is about what happens inside every human being. When emotion begins to take control. Anger rarely arrives all at once. It builds. Slowly. Silently. Almost unnoticed. A thought. A comparison. A feeling of rejection. Why was his accepted? And not mine? And instead of confronting it, Cain holds onto it. This is where everything begins. Not in the field. Not in the act. But in the heart. This is what later scripture reveals in 1 John 3:12, Cain, who belonged to the evil one and murdered his brother. But before the act, there was a process. A slow transformation. From disappointment to anger to something far more dangerous. And this is where many of us live. Not in the action, but in the build-up. Then comes a moment that seems ordinary, almost harmless. Cain speaks to Abel. Let's go into the field. No urgency. No visible threat. Just a simple invitation. But sometimes, the most dangerous decisions in life don't look dangerous at all. Abel goes. Trusting. Unaware. And this moment reveals something deeply human. Betrayal rarely comes from strangers. It comes from those closest. And what is about to happen will break something in humanity that cannot be repaired by effort alone. They walk into the field, away from everything. No witnesses, no interruption, just silence and space. This is where choices become actions. Because when no one is watching, what is inside us comes out. There is no audience, no pressure, only truth. And in that quiet place, something inside Cain crosses a line. And there, it happens. Cain rises against Abel and kills him. No warning, no reversal, no second chance. The first blood is not from sacrifice, but from violence. This is the moment humanity changes forever. Because this is the first time a human life is taken by another human. And from this point forward, history will carry this pattern. Conflict, violence, blood. Then comes the silence. No voice, no movement, just stillness. But this silence is not empty. It is heavy. Because something has just been introduced into the world. Something irreversible. Death was already present as a consequence of sin. But now, death comes through human hands. And the ground becomes the witness. God speaks again. Where is your brother Abel? Not because he doesn't know, but because Cain needs to answer. And Cain responds, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? A question filled with deflection, avoidance, distance. But truth cannot be buried. As it is written in Numbers 32:23, be sure your sin will find you out. And here, it already has. Then comes one of the most mysterious lines in Scripture. The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Blood. Crying out? This is not metaphor alone. This is revelation. That what is done on earth is heard in heaven. And later, in Hebrews 12:24, we are told of another blood. One that speaks. Not for justice. but for mercy. But here, this cry is different. It is a cry for justice. The Hebrew word is tsa'ak, a desperate cry, a scream for justice. Not quiet, not passive, but urgent. What Cain thought was hidden is now speaking louder than his words. And this introduces something powerful: that actions have a voice, even when we remain silent. And then, God responds, but not in the way we expect. He does not take Cain's life. Instead, he curses the ground. The ground will no longer yield to you. Why the ground? Why not Cain directly? This is where the mystery deepens. Because the ground received Abel's blood, and now it refuses to cooperate with Cain. Archaeology shows us something critical. Early human life depended entirely on the land. Agriculture was survival. Without it, there was no food, no stability, no future. To curse the ground was to remove security, provision, identity. This was not just punishment. It was separation from everything Cain relied on. Cain is not just a figure in history. He is a reflection of what happens when anger is left unchecked, when emotion becomes action, when warning is ignored. Have you ever said something you couldn't take back? Done something you wish you could undo? This is that moment. There's someone who needs to hear this. You'll know who. If this spoke to you, type "I understand" below. In the next episode, a mark will be given, not to destroy, but to protect. Why would God protect Cain? What happens next will change everything.